Well, I thought I would try something a little different from what I produced here the last couple of videos. And I was just going to talk about some of my favorite science fiction books. And these were actually given to me by a friend of the family, one of my brother's best friends, who was named Gary. They were 2 years older than me in school. And while I was in the seventh grade, I was attempting to learn how to wrestle. And Gary, the guy who owned these books, was already wrestling as a freshman. Well, he spent a lot of time teaching me what he was learning in the high school, and that paid off well for me in junior high. And Gary had these books, and I had noticed them around, and I asked him if I could borrow them, and he said sure. Now Gary was a quite a good student in school. He was fourth in the state wrestling his senior year, and we lived in a big wrestling state in the big school division. He was also first in the state in the statewide chemistry test, and he received an academic scholarship to a pretty big name college, and he received his degree in electrical engineering and went to work for NASA. So yeah, I was very fortunate to know Gary, and he had quite a bit of influence on me growing up. And he continued to watch, come and see me wrestle, even 2 years after he graduated from high school, and pointed out mistakes I was making without hesitation. But at any rate, Gary loaned me all these books, and then just told me, "You enjoyed them so much more than I did. You just keep them." And I've had them all these years since 1966. At any rate, here's the first one, and this is The Path Through Tomorrow by Robert Heinlein, considered by many to be one of his greatest books. And as you can see, I had not learned how to take care of my books yet. Now, I did take care of my books after I was about 16 or 17. This book traveled all over the place with me. It was in the swimming pool, it was at the wrestling meets, it was at track meets, it was all over. And I did not really have anywhere to put my books except on top of an old desk. So here it is. And here are the contents. This has a nice introduction by Damon Knight. I've read it many times over the years. And we have so many of Heinlein's most renowned stories in this book: The Man Who Sold the Moon, Lifeline, Requiem, The Long Watch, Ordeal in Space, The Green Hills of Earth, If This Goes On, Coventry. So many great stories in this book, and I have taken care of it since 1970 or so, but there was no way to get it restored. I actually looked into getting it restored years ago, and the cost was really prohibitive. So next is just the 1987 copy that I have of The Path Through Tomorrow, which is a great reprint, and it does contain everything that was in the original, including Heinlein's timeline of his stories. And so this book has been very well taken care of, and I have never really read it. I reread the old one. So the next book that I read that Gary had given me is another book that I unfortunately did not take great care of. It did a lot of traveling with me, and it was, again, read everywhere I went, and was not in a bookcase. You can't even see what this is, but that will become very apparent here shortly. And of course, this is Isaac Asimov's The Rest of the Robots. And this contains many of Asimov's most renowned robot stories. And an amazing book. I've read it multiple times. And here he also, this book contains both full novels, The Caves of Steel and The Naked Sun. Arguably, those may be Asimov's best novels, and I have always enjoyed reading them. So Gary also gave me, and these are the actual books Gary gave me. These are the books that he gave me. I, for some reason, did not haul these anthologies around. I did the collections. I have managed to keep them in great shape all this time. And this is Anthony Boucher's A Treasury of Great Science Fiction, and it certainly is that. Another double-day publication with the spaceship flying out of the book logo. And there's just there are so many great stories in here. We have Rebirth by John Wyndham, Pillar of Fire by Bradbury, Waldo by Robert Heinlein, The Father Thing by Philip K. Dick. A very short story, but it packs a wallop. And we have The Widget, The Wadget, and Boff, Theodore Sturgeon. The Weapon Shops of Isher by A.E. Van Vogt. So a lot of stuff in here, and certainly very highly regarded anthology. And I have the second volume as well, of course. Gary provided that to me too. I tried to return these books to him. He was not interested in taking them back. He had moved on to other venues and other things that he was doing. Gary really was an academic in high school and college. So here we are with volume 2 and the great logo here from Doubleday. Brainwave, Paul Anderson. Lost Art by George O. Smith. The Other Side of the Sky by Arthur Clarke. The Man Who Sold the Moon, Robert Heinlein. And Piggy Bank by Henry Kuttner. The Star's My Destination by Alfred Bester. Well, what can you say? I mean, you have some just marvelous science fiction here again. And I was reading all this stuff at 12 and 13 years of age. I do have another copy of Boucher's A Treasury of Great Science Fiction, Volume 1. And that is because coming up with a hardbound copy of The Weapon Shops of Isher is either very difficult or very expensive. And this novel is one of my favorite novels in all of science fiction. Van Vogt covers a lot of different concepts in here, philosophical, economic, ideological, and I have read this book by Van Vogt multiple times as well. I have kept this copy of Boucher's Volume 1. I just keep it in my Van Vogt section of my book collection. Well, that's all I have for today. And I hope everybody is reading classic and other science fiction and having a great time. And I also hope everyone is having a great day. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.